Hey, what's up? It's your boy Dom back with another video, and I know it's been a little while since I been up here actively making videos, but I'm working on that, and now I'm gonna start making videos at least once a week for my viewers and for my platform, because it's a lot going on that I could be giving this information out to other people that want to go along with the journey and stuff like that. So, boom. All right. So what we're gonna talk about today is the power of discipline. And if you have no discipline, you're not going to go nowhere with your goals. So learn how to develop discipline. Your body is like a work of art. Like, you really could train your body to be anything you want it to be, build it to be anything you want it to build. So if you want to have some real good discipline, start developing actions that'll make you have good discipline. Because at the end of the day, you ain't going to be nothing without discipline. So now, a lot of people ask me yo, how'd you go about changing your life? And I motivate a lot of people, and in reality, it's because I had to change. I had to develop changing my mindset. I had to change my environment. I had to change the people I was around. Because if you don't change your mindset, the people you're around and stuff like that, you're never gonna change in life. Now, the first thing I changed when I was in prison, I changed my mindset. I had to change the way I viewed things in life. I had to change the way I carried myself. I never was a people's person like that. I always liked to stay to myself. But at the end of the day, not being a people person was making me more seem negative to people. I would interact with somebody and it'd be awkward or negative because I don't feel comfortable. So you gotta learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Because in reality, you're gonna meet new people all the time. You gotta be out there. You gotta learn how to sell yourself, because people don't know what you offer. You could be the best rapper around, but if you don't know how to portray that image and show them what you have, how are you gonna sell them? How are you gonna sell somebody that, So you gotta learn how to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. But what I did when it came to changing was I would do a lot of meditating. Meditating is real good for the soul. I read a lot of self-help books. Now, the self-help books are amazing because when you read those self-help books, it's like a pamphlet, a manual on life. And it's weird because a lot of things, we don't have people to teach us certain things in life, but you start reading those self-help books, they'll start to break down a lot of things in life. You can read a book about credit, you can read a book about business, about workouts, whatever. And when you read those type of books, they literally break down certain things in life that nobody probably taught you. So I believe the power of self-help books is amazing. 3 books I recommend is definitely The Science of Getting Rich. Even if you don't want to get rich, The Science of Getting Rich is an amazing book because it teaches you universal laws, like the law of attraction and stuff like that. So The Science of Getting Rich is a good one. 48 Laws of Power. That one's amazing. That's probably that's the number one, actually. The first book, if you only read one book, read that book. That book will tell you a lot about life. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I gotta say, is the third one. Even though I feel like I didn't get that much knowledge from it, it just really broke down the separate mindsets between being a poor mindset and a rich mindset. But I think Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it does good with breaking down the difference between the mindsets. But in reality, you'll probably get a little bit of information out of that. But it's just it just showed you different aspects of life, different ways of thinking. That's really what it teaches you. People come to me all the time and they ask me they want to change their life, and it feels good to me. But at the same time, I get goosebumps because it's damn, how did I get here? From being from where I come from, where I grew up, what I grew up doing and stuff like that, doing 5 years in prison. I went to prison twice. By the time I was 24, I did almost 5 years in prison. And I had to make a change with my life. And I went to prison for nothing stupid beating females up or stealing stuff. I was really one of those young kids brainwashed into thinking it was okay to be out here beefing and selling drugs and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I got caught up doing. Really beefing, really getting into shootouts and stuff like that, toting guns and stuff like that. That's what really got me caught up. I just always got back with drugs because I was a drug dealer. One thing I could tell people is when I was selling drugs and I was beefing with people, it's you're anxious with life. You're anxious everywhere you go because you never know. damn, it might be a police that's gonna run down on me, or it might be another person I have beef with that might see me and it might be an issue. But one thing I can say about when changing your life, it's like I don't stress no more about those type of things. Like, I'm still aware of my surroundings everywhere I go and stuff like that, but I don't think like, damn, this could be my last time leaving the house because I could go to jail or I could die. And that's not a good way of thinking. And it's hard to elevate in life when you got that way of thinking. Because for the longest, like, it took me a long time to learn what I learned now. I mean, I'm only 28 right now, so a lot of people might think a long time's not that, oh, you're 28, you're still young. But at the end of the day, I felt like, man, the pain I've been through, the trauma I've been through, it was a lot. But everything I've been through kind of taught me the things I know now. And there's a lot of people, and it's crazy because there's a lot of people in life that will really try to give you advice on something they never done. And it's hard because it's like, damn, how you going to tell me about something you never did? So that's why, like, I feel like my platform is going to be good for people that's caught up in the streets because, like, I've been there, done that, you know? I feel like I'm just trying to motivate, you know, the younger generation, motivate people that's trying to learn and do better. In reality, everyone's not going to want to do better. People are not going to change. Certain people are never going to change. But there is people that just need that little push. They need that little motivation. They need that little guidance. And that's what I'm trying to be on my platform. Right now, we're still doing a lot of like interviewing people. I'm trying to build my team up the best. A lot of legal stuff going on behind the scenes, like getting my business established legally with the state, getting my LLC and stuff like that. And then also eventually I might have more guests come up here and everybody talk about their experiences. And I want you to learn something every time you tune in to my channel. I want you to learn something, whether it's something that has to do with credit, whether it has something to do with business, getting a loan, you know, anything, fitness, whatever. Like, I want you to learn something. That's the goal. But to really change your life, coming from what I've came from, to really change your life, I feel like you got to change your environment. You got to change your mindset. So, boom, I'm going ahead of myself. To change your life, you have to change your mindset first. Once you change your mindset, you change the way you think, you change the way you carry yourself, you will start to see how the world is different. Like, you will view the world different. Instead of looking at everything in a negative light, you will look at the good in everything, and now you're happy, you're grateful. And it's weird, like you become more attractive as a person when you change up your mindset and stuff like that. It's really necessary for you to change the way you think, because when you change the way you think, everything else changes around you. Then you start to look at the people you're around differently. Like, you might be around somebody you grew up with, y'all gang banging and stuff like that. And then you start to notice, like, I want better for myself. And you might try to talk to him about it. And he might be on some, nah, we only going to be street dudes. That's all we're going to be in life. But then you start to see that, like, damn, I love him and everything, but he's not someone I could be around. And that type of stuff starts to happen. You start changing your life. You start changing the people around you. Start changing up your circle. Now, certain people will judge you and try to make you seem like you traded on them, or you sold out, you changed up. But in reality, you want better for yourself. That's what you really want. That's what life's about. Your life is not about nobody else. It's about you. So who cares what people say? You got to do what you got to do. You definitely got to be strong. So you got to change your environment. You should not be in the same area where you was out there shooting people, shooting at people, getting shot at, robbing, whatever, jumping, fighting, whatever environment you grew up in. If you was in that environment doing bad, get the fuck out of that environment. Don't go back there. Because I'm telling you, you could change your mindset. You could change the way you think, but they're still going to perceive you as that. And it's going to be easily for you to get sucked back into that lifestyle. Change up your environment. Definitely. You shouldn't be hanging out there on them blocks where you know there's no good. You start to change your environment, you notice how, like, everything else starts to change too. So, like, you'll grow up around certain people, and then you'll start meeting, like, other people from walks of lives, and, like, damn, like, it's really, like, other ways of living than just the way I was living. Like, last year was my first year, like, going on vacation as an adult. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, damn, like, if I was still in the streets, if I was still out here, you know, worrying about the wrong things and stuff like that, I never would be amounting to this. Like, I never would be able to take trips. And there's so much more to life than just staying in the hood and being on the block and selling drugs and want to be a killer and want to be, because I feel like nowadays everybody glorify killing. It's not even about who's real no more. It's not even about none of that. It's about who got money and who kills shit. That's all they worried about now. And in reality, man, that's not what life's about at all. Life's about being happy, you know, having a family, having your family, whether your family is 5 kids, 1 kid, no kids, whatever you want your life to be happy. You want your life to be lived the way you want to live it. Don't live your life behind nobody else. Also, you got to learn how to invest. You got to learn how to invest in stuff. And the biggest thing you should invest in is yourself. That's the best asset you can have, is invested in yourself. Because you could never fail once you invest in yourself. And you might take a loss, but a loss is a lesson. When you take an L, you're really taking a lesson. So you might have lost some money and you think you failed, but in reality you didn't. That was a lesson. So turn your losses into lessons. That's it. That's all it is. I say, like, my advice, if you want to really transform yourself and really want to get on the next level, I say get rid of social media. Stop chasing women. Stop chasing males, whatever you're into. I don't know. Stop chasing people's opinions. Stop worrying about the new trends. Stop going out. Stop going to bars. Stop doing all of that, because that's a waste of time, money, and energy. Going out on the weekends, in reality, there should be no fun behind that. If you're in grind mode, you should not be worrying about going out on the weekends. Going out on the weekends is like a reset. Everything you're building towards the whole week. Now the weekend rolls around, you done spent a lot of money, so now the money you could have been saving up, now gone. Now your fitness journey, you done drunk, ate finger foods and stuff like that, so now you probably gained a couple pounds or whatever. Now Monday you're starting over again. Now all your progress you made, you throw it down the drain on Friday. So stay away from going out. Stay away from being out. Stay away from shopping. You know, if you got expensive habits like smoking weed, leave that shit alone. I'm telling you, learn something, figure something else out, because that is such an expensive habit that you don't even know. Unless that's something you really feel like you have to do, I'd say put yourself on a budget and make it make sense for yourself. Smoke a little bit, and maybe, like, if you want to smoke a little bit, do it in a way where you don't really have to come out of pocket heavy or whatever, and cut costs somewhere. You got to cut costs somewhere. So if you're going to smoke, don't drink no more. Or if you're going to drink, don't smoke no more. If you're going to vape, don't smoke weed. If you're going to smoke weed, don't vape. Cut costs somewhere. But you got to learn how to cut back on the BS, which is the BS activities, and spending your money on BS, and go work on growing yourself, growing your bank account, growing your mind, you know, growing your aura. That's what you got to worry about the most. Stay away from people that's not on that type of time also. Cut back from people that wants to be out here still doing the same type of stuff. Because in reality, you know, you look at these people, they ain't amount to nothing. You know, everyone has their own lifestyle, their own goals and stuff like that. But if you want to be something with yourself, you got to stay away from people that's not doing something with themselves. I'm telling you, because they're going to drag you down. Whenever you talk about something positive, they're going to tell you ways that won't work. I'm telling you, stay away from people that got nothing going on for themselves. Maybe if it's a childhood friend, you want to check up on them here and there, you could do that. But for you to always be around and always deal with these type of people, you're never going to grow. And then when you do start to grow, they're going to try to bring you back, bring you down. So there's a lot I've been doing since my last video. I've been traveling with my company, which I love it. I get paid to travel. I love that. Been buying real estate. Been still doing my investing, working on building my credit, working on, you know, making myself healthy and you know, still building myself up, because every year the goal is to be a greater version of yourself. And now I'm starting to feel like I have to start making content, because it's so much knowledge, it's so much experience I have for people. And I feel like I'm gatekeeping almost. Like there's someone that's watching this video right now that really could learn from something I'm doing. If I don't tell nobody, how are they going to learn? Because my goal is to motivate the youth and bring people up. Not even just the youth, people that are older too. Like if you want to change your life, I want to motivate people to do better with themselves. That's the goal. When I was in prison, I told myself that. I said, I knew I was going to be successful. I knew I was going to make it. And I said, you know what? When I go home, I gotta create a podcast, do a platform, make a platform so people can learn. I'm not gonna charge nobody, and quote me on this now. I will never, ever in my life charge nobody for a course because my game is free. Only thing I ask is like and subscribe. That's it. Just like and subscribe to my video and share it. That's the only thing I ask for. A lot of these people on these social media and YouTube and all these social media platforms, they're making money off of you, but they make it seem like they got this winning strategy and stuff like that. So focus on discipline. Sometimes if you don't have no goals or no plans, you gotta establish a goal. Then you gotta break down. You gotta have a plan. So you gotta make a goal for yourself. Then you gotta make a plan of how you're gonna achieve that goal. Because a goal without a plan is just a wish. And a lot of time, wishes don't come true. Majority of the time, they don't. But if you have a plan, you have a strategy, it will come true. Just a matter of time. As long as you stick by your plan and your strategy, it will come true. Go get a notebook and develop whatever plan you want. If it's a fitness plan, financial plan, a spiritual plan, you got to come up with a plan. This is what I do. I get notebooks, composition books, go to the dollar store, go to Family Dollar, whatever. Go get a composition book. Write down your top 5 goals, whether it's fitness, spiritual, mentally, physically, financially. Find out what your top 5 goals are and take all of your energy and put them into those top 5 goals. Now, there's people that also say you should focus on one thing. But then again, I think you could do 5 things at once. You just got to make sure you manage your time correctly. You could be on your fitness stuff and elevate your income, but you have to learn how to manage your time correctly. We have 24 hours in a day. People that don't make it are the people that waste their time. People that do make it are the people that utilize their time and do the right things. I got a daily planner. This is what I use right here, my daily planner, and I write down what I got to do for the week. Every Sunday, I write down what's my plans for the week. Every Sunday, I write down what's my goals for the week. What do I have to do, my task, and then I achieve them. But when I don't use my planner, it's weird. It's like I don't achieve nothing. I'll look back and be like, damn, I forgot I was supposed to do that. I'll go weeks without doing something that's supposed to be done. For example, I had this one, so I had to put a lock on the door, right? So I just replaced the door. I never put a lock on it. It probably took me a month to put a lock on that door because I kept forgetting to put the lock on that door. So that's why I started doing this again, because for a while I went without my daily planner. But then I started noticing it was hard for me to stay focused to achieve my task. So I ended up getting another daily planner and doing it again. And now the things I write down in here, I end up achieving because you look at them every day, daily. What's the goal? What do I got to do? What's the plan? I'm heavy on no making excuses. Because excuses are just the reason you don't want something. Stay away from excuses. If you want to achieve something, figure out how you can achieve it. Don't make up an excuse and say you can't do it. Because the second you say you can't do something, you won't do it. Instead, find out a way to make something happen. Find out a way to make your goals come true, your dreams come true. And it's crazy too, because I had a dream, right? I had a dream when I was in prison that I was going to be a multimillionaire before I was 30. And it's crazy too because I said, you know what? I'm going to go by that. Now my dream turned into my goals. Then I started writing down my plans, how I'm going to achieve it and stuff. And it's funny because like when I first was in prison, I was telling people about the stuff I wanted to do. A lot of people laughed. They thought it sounded crazy. They thought I had wishful thinking. There's people that told me, and I still remember to this day because it hurt me. There was the female I was talking to that I was in love with at the time. So she wasn't excited about my goals like me. And I was talking to her on the phone. And I'm asking her, I'm like, yo, you don't seem to be excited for my goals like I am. And she responded back. She told me, because I know you, Flex. She said, when things start getting hard, you're going to go back to what you know, and that's selling drugs. That shit hurt. I'm not even going to lie, that hurt. But what I did, I remembered that. I internalized it. I remembered it, and I said, you know what? All right, now that's more of a motivation to never go back to doing that. Just to prove a point to the people close to me that thought I wasn't going to change. Prove a point to myself because obviously I was doing something wrong because people were believing that. They were believing I couldn't achieve my goals. I couldn't stay focused on the right path. But they didn't know the type of man I was building myself up to be when I was in there. Since I've been out of prison over 3 years. Law-abiding citizen ever since, and it feels amazing. Buying properties and making all this money, buying the vehicles I want to buy, like living stress-free. I don't stress about nothing when it comes to financial, because like I do well for myself. I make pretty good money for myself, and it's all legal money. I don't got to worry about police raiding and none of that stuff, because I do everything the right way. That's why I push making money the right way, because you could do stuff with it. When you doing stuff the wrong way, you can't do nothing with it. You know, you can't take 25 grand of drug money and go buy a car, because you're gonna be on the radar, then you'll get raided, and then the police gonna seize and stuff like that. But back to my goals. So now I talk about the things I've done, and a lot of the same people feel like I'm bragging. So when I was talking about the things I wanted to do, they laughed at me. They thought I had wishful thinking. Now I'm talking about the things I've done. They say I'm bragging. Listen, you start to realize a lot of people you call family, your loved ones, they really don't care. Being successful, hitting my goals, I started losing a lot of close friends and relatives. And not dying. They wasn't dying. They just was turning on me. They were turning on me, and a lot of people get envious, because I feel like when you start shining, you start doing your thing, it makes them feel insecure, because they figure out, damn, I can't get it right. He could get it right. So now they feel like less than, or they feel like, you know, when I'm trying to tell them to do better, like I'm trying to degrade them or something like that. In reality, I'm like, nah, if I got love for you, I'm going to keep it real with you. But like, comment, subscribe, back at it. And we're going to keep them coming your way once a week. We're going to have some guests coming up on here. We got a lot of stuff lined up. It's just getting the right people to run some of these programs and stuff like that. So hopefully soon, we'll have some real big guests coming up here. But at the end of the day, like, comment, subscribe. We're going to that next level. It's Don Talk. Talk to him.